Day 89, Part 1, 3 classes left. Finally, Manuel decides to visit Kay. Manuel traveled to Miami by plane. At the airport, Kay waits for Manuel. 3 classes left. Finally, Manuel decides to visit Kay. Manuel traveled to Miami by plane. At the airport, Kay waits for Manuel. Part 2A, Present. Finally, Manuel decides to visit Kay. Does Manuel decide to visit Kay? Yes, Manuel decides to visit Kay. Yes, Manuel decides to visit Kay. Who decides to visit Kay? Manuel. Manuel decides to visit Kay. Manuel decides to visit Kay. Does Manuel decide to visit Jorge? No, he doesn't decide to visit Jorge. He decides to visit Kay. Manuel doesn't decide to visit Jorge. He decides to visit Kay. What does Manuel decide to do? He decides to visit Kay. To visit Kay. He decides to visit Kay. Does he decide to talk to Kay? He decides to visit Kay. He decides to visit Kay. He doesn't decide to talk to Kay. Part 2B, Pass. Finally, Manuel decided to visit Kay. Did Manuel decide to visit Kay? Yes, Manuel decided to visit Kay. Who decided to visit Kay? Manuel. Manuel decided to visit Kay. Manuel decided to visit Kay. Did Manuel decide to visit Jorge? He didn't decide to visit Jorge. He decides to visit Kay. No, Manuel didn't decide to visit Jorge. He decided to visit Kay. What did Manuel decide to do? He decided to visit Kay. He decided to visit Kay. Does he decide to talk to Kay? He didn't decide to talk to Kay. He decides to visit Kay. Part 3A, Present. Manuel traveled to Miami by plane. Does Manuel travel to Miami by train? He doesn't travel to Miami by train. He traveled by plane. He traveled by plane. He travels by plane. How does Manuel travel to Miami? He traveled by plane. Does Manuel travel to Miami by train or by plane. By plane. He traveled to Miami by plane. Where is Manuel travel to? By plane. He travels by plane. He traveled to Miami by plane. Where? Where? To Miami. Part 3B. Pass. Manuel traveled to Miami by plane. Did Manuel travel to Miami by train? He didn't travel to Miami by train. He traveled by plane. How is Manuel travel to Miami? By plane. He traveled by plane. Did Manuel travel to Miami by plane or by boat? By plane. He traveled to Miami by plane. He didn't travel by boat. Where is Manuel travel to? By plane. To Miami. He traveled to Miami by plane. Where? To Miami. He traveled to Miami. Part 4A. Present. At the airport, Kate waits for Manuel. Does Kate wait for Jorge at the airport? At the airport, Kate waits for Manuel. He doesn't wait Jorge at the airport. He waits for Manuel. Where is Kate wait for Manuel? At the airport. Kate waits for Manuel at the airport. Does Manuel with Kate? Did Manuel waits Kate at the airport? Yes. No. Kate wait for Manuel at the airport. Who waits for Manuel at the airport? Kate. Kate waits for Manuel at the airport. Does Kate wait for Manuel at the airport? Yes. Kate waits for Manuel at the airport. Part 4B. Pass. At the airport, Kate waited for Manuel. Did Kate wait for Jorge at the airport? At the airport, Kate waited for Manuel. He didn't wait for Jorge. She didn't wait for Jorge. Where did Kate wait for Manuel? At the airport. Kate waited for Manuel at the airport. At the airport. Kate waited for Manuel at the airport. Did Manuel wait for Kate at the airport? No, Kate waited for Manuel at the airport. Kate waited for Manuel at the airport. Who waited for Manuel at the airport? Kate. Kate waited for Manuel at the airport. At the airport. Did Kate wait for Manuel at the airport? Yes, Kay waited for Manuel at the airport. Part 5. Finally, I decided to visit Kay. She lives in Miami. I had to go to Miami. I want to see Kay, my friend. I'm going to go to Miami by plane. Life can be wonderful. Only 3 days left. Personal question. Who do you visit a lot? Your cousin, your grandparents, your uncle, grandparents. I visit a lot at my grandparents.